Hi, I'm Donna Kallner. This is the techniques video for left-handed stitchers in Lesson 1 of the New Age Looping Basics e-course.
The first step in almost any project is to get a thread anchored. For your first sample, you could just tie a thread around the mold using any old granny knot, but a wrapped base cord is more secure and the knot is less bulky. How you make a wrapped base cord will depend on whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Either way, cut a manageable length of thread, that's hip to tip as you learned in the orientation PDF. Thread it on a tapestry needle, leaving a short tail. And now, wrap the thread around the mold 2 full times. Leave a tail the width of the mold, pointing in the direction you will advance as you stitch. If you're right-handed, you will advance from left to right. If you're left-handed, advance from right to left.
Adjust the position of your fingers on the mold so that you're holding it with your non-dominant thumb controlling the wrapped base cord and a finger or two clamping down on that little tail that's stretched out across the base of the mold.
Insert the needle from north to south, passing under all the elements of the wrapped base cord, including the tail, and over the working thread. Draw the needle through until it forms a small knot. If you're right-handed, position the knot near the upper left corner of the mold. If you're left-handed, position the knot near the upper right. With the baseboard knotted near the top of the mold, you have a firm anchor and the thread in place for your first row of stitching. The wrapped cord should be snug enough that it doesn't easily slip off the mold, but have enough ease to let you stitch into it on the base row. The basic looping stitch feels like the movement used to anchor the wrapped base cord, except you don't pull it into a knot. To make the first stitch, advance a short distance from the knot. Be sure the thread tail is lying parallel to the wrapped base cord and pointing in the direction you advance, so you can trap that tail with your stitches as you advance across the front of the mold. Insert the needle from north to south, passing under all the elements of the wrapped base cord, including the tail, and over the working thread. Draw the thread through, but this time don't pull it tight. You should see a little loop around the base cord. We'll call that the stitch. The thread that advances from one stitch to the next we'll call the lag between stitches, or simply the lag. As you stitch into the base row, the needle moves north to south, under the base cord, over the working thread. North to south, under the base cord, and over the working thread. When you reach the edge of the mold, flip it over and continue advancing in the same direction. Advance across the wrapped base cord along the back side of the mold until you reach the point where you pull that first stitch into a knot to secure the wrapped base cord to the mold. Make the final stitch on the base row next to, but not advancing beyond, the knot you made when you anchored the wrapped base cord. That will complete the base row. The base row is actually at the rim of the pouch in this sample, which is stitched from top to bottom. Once you complete the base row, you keep advancing in the same direction, but you no longer insert the needle under the wrapped base cord to make a stitch. For the next row and beyond, insert the needle from north to south under a lag between stitches on the previous row, and then travel over the working thread. Everything else about the stitch is the same as on the base row. For your first sample, make one stitch in each lag on the previous row, working in a continuous spiral from the top or rim, the wrapped base cord, down. In a few rows, you'll see your work begin to form a straight-sided, tube-like sleeve of fabric around the mold. But first, the next video breaks down the thread control in fine detail. Stop this video here and watch the thread control video. Then come back to this video and play it again as you sample the looping technique for yourself. When you get back to this point, keep playing. Now that you've had the lesson on thread control, I want to point out details of thread control as I stitch. Before you make a new stitch, press the thumb of your non-dominant hand onto the last stitch made and hold it there as you draw the thread. Keep moving your hand back close to the work and strip the thread through a little at a time. Then goose the stitch into place as you strip the last inch or so. Once that stitch is in place, don't try to alter it by tugging the thread. Allocate how much thread you want for the next stitch before you press the last stitch made. So stitch north to south, under, over, allocate, strip, and goose. Be mindful of your thread control now, and in short order, it'll become second nature. But probably before that happens, you're going to run out of thread. In the next video, I'll show you one way to add thread. I'll see you there.